So you're in the market for compact budget fixed blades, and you come across the SOG Knives Ace and the SOG Knives Field Knife. They both have rubberized overmolded handles. The blades are right around 4 inches in length. They come with polymer sheaths, including belt clips, and they'll both run you between 25 and 30 bucks. So we're gonna find out which of these two is better suited for your needs. Well, welcome back to another video, folks, here at Gideonstactical. Really looking forward to talking about these two SOG budget-friendly, cheap knives. And the reason you may be looking at these knives is because you're either on a really tight budget, you're looking for a gift knife, it's maybe we're coming into the holidays coming soon, you're walking through a sporting goods store or something, and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that, and you know what, sure, because these are pretty accessible, or you're just starting out in knives and you're just looking for a beater, budget-friendly collection to get started, and these have perked your interest. You know the name SOG, or maybe you have a few other ones, and so we're gonna break it all down for you today. But my first question to you, if you're looking at these two knives, is why aren't you looking at these two knives? If you are looking for cheap, compact, lightweight, inexpensive but extremely capable fixed blades, top dog for me is always been the Mora heavy duty companion. Runs you about $20, $25 sometimes. Swedish made, comes with a polymer sheath, carbon steel or stainless steel options out there. I mean, there's such a plethora, and it's an amazing field knife. And a close runner up is the Cold Steel Fin Hawk with a very similar polymer sheath, great ergonomics, even deeper cut in for a better guard. Great blade shape. This one even comes with a 90-degree spine out of the gate, so it'll throw sparks like crazy. Using German 4116 cryogenically quenched steel, which is, I would say, runner up and right alongside like the stainless steel versions of Mora knives. It's very similar in edge retention and capability from everything that I see. Again, about $20. So if you're on the cheap and you are looking for an outdoor camping, hiking, backpacking, bushcrafting knife, those should be the first two blades that you're looking at. But maybe you already have those knives, maybe they just don't connect with you. You like more of a quote-unquote tactical feel, more of a utilitarian feel, and more maybe it's accessibility, because both of those knives aren't quite as accessible as something that you might find at a local sporting goods store. So for whatever your reason, you're looking at these two blades, let's break them down. All right, so we really got to talk about the business and kind of out of the gate here with both of these blades and really what you're looking at. So on the Ace, we're looking at a full flat grind, which is great. I love full flat grinds. On the Field Knife, we're looking at a hollow grind, very similar grinding and stuff that you would find on either a SOG Field Pup back in the day, or maybe even the Field Pup 2, whatever that was, or the SOG Seal Pup. It's a very similar kind of edge geometry, so if you already own one of those, you know what I'm talking about. It's a hollow grind. Now, full flats are really good with like food prep and have some strength. You could argue on edge geometry over a hollow grind. Hollow grinds are very sharp. They have a very steep edge geometry, which means that they're wicked slicers. The drawback is that the edge geometry, because it's so high angled, they cut really well, but sometimes they're a little bit flimsier. You may see chipping or rolling, and just not as long an edge retention on a hollow grind, or strength on a hollow grind blade over either a full flat or like a saber grind. So that's just something, a data point. Now, what we did was I did a bunch of everything just around the yard on these two blades, but I did all sorts of like rubber cutting, cardboard slicing, going through all sorts of polymer rubber mats, then doing the cordage and rope cutting. So getting a lot of just kind of every day you're working at the house, on the property, whatever type of stuff. Maybe if you were using this for some reason, on some sort of more industrial application. And then as well as all kinds of woods work. I did all kinds of split. I took untreated 4x4s, split them up with these, or maybe they're 3x3s because the blades could get past them just slightly, but to baton through them, to side split with them, then carving on them to make the feather sticks you're seeing and the spear tips, things like that, and then also just doing some food prep in the kitchen. So have really tried to put a full plethora of work on these to see how the edges held up, the different grindings, how that held up. And so I'll tell you, between the two, the field pup, or excuse me, not the field pup, the field knife up here with its hollow grind cut better in every way. It's just the way it is. The edge geometry, it'll make feather sticks easier and quicker and finer. It will cut through cordage better. It will cut through the rubber and cardboard quicker. They're less resistant than the full flat grind on the Ace. Really, the old Ace really only shined a little bit in the batoning, I felt, just with the grinding. Now the Ace is close, but I can tell the difference, and the hollow grind on the field knife does make for general utility a better slicer. But again, just remember, that means it could dull a little bit quicker and or possibly have take damage quicker than the full flat grind on the Ace. So that's just something to consider. Now, along with that, we are looking at, with the Ace, handle to tip 3.8, actual cutting edge 3.75, and then on the field knife, we are looking at an overall length of 4 inches with a cutting edge of about 3.8, something around there. We're looking at a thickness back here on the spine of 0.12 on the Ace, so an 1/8 of an inch thick, and then 0.13 at the stock back here by the handle on the field knife. So things to consider there. Now, they are both made, and this is also kind of a thing to consider, sticking point, if you will, 7 CR17 MOV. Gross, throw up, icky, yuck. Not a steel I enjoy using. I have used it on some Gerbers. I have used it on some other SOGs. I have used it on maybe a Kershaw or two, or maybe a CRKT. I'm not sure. Not my favorite steel. For me, 8 CR13 MOV is really kind of like bottom of the barrel. And what I saw with these was that I was surprised with the edge retention, and I'm going to cut away actually to some paper cutting. The paper, these knives were factory edges on both. I did not tune them up at all, and then I did all the work you saw, did not retune them up to do paper cutting. So for the work you saw, pretty decent edge retention. It's got a Rockwell of 54 to 58, which is really, that's a big tolerance. So guys, it's cheap steel. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. It's super rust resistant, so it's a great like water knife, boat knife, canoeing, kayaking, you know, that type of stuff. You're not gonna get any rust on it if you're in high humid environments. It holds a decent edge for the price point. But it's by no means like a good steel. You're gonna have to resharpen it pretty frequently. If it does damage, it's very easy to take out because it's not gonna chip on you. It's more likely just to roll and kind of dull. But you know, it's a really budget-friendly steel. Really not gonna hold its edge very long. 8 CR13 MOV AUS 8 will definitely hold its edge longer. And this is really beating on it. You guys have seen it. Nice. I don't normally do paper cutting tests, but you guys can just see there. Little burr right there, maybe. Yeah, right there's a little tiny burr. There you go. Same thing with the Ace. After all the work, not touched up. It's good. So pleasantly surprised with that steel, but it's still a soft steel. So held its edge better than I thought it would, but it's still very, in my opinion, soft steel that's not going to hold its edge very long, with requiring a lot of maintenance to keep good edges on it for long periods of time. And the final thing is that when it comes to 90-degree spines, the field knife definitely has a 90-degree spine. It can throw sparks easily without any sort of issue. You can scrape with it, all that type of stuff. The Ace really doesn't have that. You can kind of sort of get a little spark, but you'd really have to throw it up against a grinder to get a good sharp edge on the blade to be able to throw sparks off the back spine. And you have that jimping as well that I really like and works really well on that back portion of it. So you really got to do it on the clip portion of it. And just to show us here that the clip, there's no swedge on the Ace, and there's really no swedge on the field knife either. It's just the, you know, the grind. Okay, and as we look at the handles here, we're looking at polymer material, rubberized material for both. Now you can definitely tell on the field knife that it is full Tang, because we do have this exposed pommel back here. You can see there that you could do some light hammering if you want to. You got a lanyard hole, you're ready to rock and roll. So that's really good. Now there is no exposed Tang on the Ace does have a nice large generous lanyard hole. Now I watched a video, I think it was like from Knife Center, that when SOG was releasing the Ace, and the SOG rep said that it was a full Tang. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's a rat tail Tang. I don't know if it's fully enclosed and just like buries down in here. I'm not sure. And when we look at the handle, I feel like I do see just a slight piece of hardened polymer in here, then with the rubber overmold after it. So it might have like a polymer core and then handle overmold and then some sort of stick tang, rat tail tang, something like that. I would argue probably that the field knife has the better overall tang construction. So if that's something that matters to you, if you feel like you are going to be beating on these a lot, they're, you know, sub 4-inch knives, basically 4 inches actual, like 3.8. I mean, you're not going to be doing super crazy hard stuff on it, and just know the limitations of the knife. But that's something I did want to touch on with you. According to SOG, this is a full Tang construction on the Ace, with probably, from what I can tell, a polymer core in there, rubberized overmolds on both. Now on the field, I keep saying field pup, and I'm going to touch on that. Okay, so I can't remember if it's the field pup or field pup 2. Was a knife I reviewed long ago. I hated that thing. It looked like it fell off the ugly tree and like landed in a hush puppy, and you know, like I don't, it was just bad. It was just not a good looking knife. It had the same type of steel. I believe the field knife is their attempt to basically be the next generation of that, and I think that the field knife is a much better option than the old field pups that used to exist. I think it looks a lot better. I think it has a better overall design. I can't remember what, I think those had nylon sheaths. If they didn't, they were like a kind of a janky leather, like faux leather or something. This is a much better sheath option. So I just feel like the field knife is a better option than those old field pups, but a very similar type of knife. If you own a field pup, this is basically just the next generation of that. Now on the field knife, what we are looking at here is a handle length of 4.5 inches with a handle thickness of 0.68. And this knife weighs in at 3.8 ounces. So really nice and lightweight. I really like that a lot. I mean, that's lighter than half my pocket knife collection. So it's a very lightweight fixed blade, which is a good thing, particularly if you're wanting to carry it on your person, you know, and use it on a regular basis, either as a fixed blade EDC knife or as a possible just light duty hiking, camping, you know, whatever. I think it has a lot of capability in that. Now I wear large size gloves. Many of you guys know that follow along on the channel. You can see that it really fills out my hand very nicely. We have this little ricasso right there, not big enough for a choil or anything. We've got medium grit jimping. So it's not super abrupt, but it's got a nice little lock in there. Good rubberized jimping right here. SOG plastered everywhere. I love SOG for a lot of their knives, but I hate their branding and how they throw their name over everything. It just gets kind of annoying after a while, but very grippy. It's going to feel really good, you know, if you're using it as a hunting knife or, again, water sports or a water knife. It's going to feel very good. No hot spots, even in a reverse grip, it felt good. All of that type of stuff, it's going to work well for you and feel comfortable doing it, even in a reverse grip. You know, it feels very secure and locked in, and I got plenty of real estate, and it fills out my hand well. It looks blocky. I was a little concerned, like, man, the thing looks like terrible when you look at the handle, but it actually has all the contours right where it needs to be. All the transitions are well done, so it actually feels very warm to the touch, very ergonomic, doesn't cause any hot spots, which is a really good thing. So when we look at the Ace, again, very similar handle material, but we're going to look at 5.2 inches, so an overall longer handle. You can see there again with my large size hands, fills out the hand very well. Really like these kind of scallops all along here, really rounded. This is good. This ergonomically is better in my opinion, the Ace. The handle is just slightly more ergonomic, more natural in the hand. I really like that. Feels very good. This little cut in here gives me good traction. I got that whole row of kind of blocky jimping right there that really gets me locked into place, and I don't feel like I need to use the choil, but then we have that finger choil if I want to. It's a pretty shallow choil, so it almost just feels like a ricasso, but it absolutely fills my hand out easily, again creating no hot spots, and now I have really good control for finer work over the knife. Now the weight is 4 ounces, so this Ace is a little bit heavier just by a hair. Still great weight. I mean, half of my collection is like 4.5 to 5 ounces so of pocket knives, so this is a very lightweight knife. I think that slightly heavier is just because of the bigger handle, so more handle material, and then the thickness is 0.65, so still very full handle ergonomic. So it really kind of comes down to, on the handle side, they're both good. do you like using choils and you like being able to choke up on your smaller knives, the Ace will probably feel a little bit better and you just like the natural feel. Or if you like more of a kind of a locked in, heavy, you know, texture type of thing, then the field knife will probably be the better choice for you without any choil option. All right, so let's hit these sheaths. Now, normally you'll find this just with black, but I guess they do have some of these cool digicam colors out there on the Ace. So you just can kind of hunt around. We'll have those in the links below and stuff, and that might be a limited thing, I don't know. So I wanted to go, I actually paid like an extra $1 to get the digicam version. So you're getting polymer, and that's all it says. I don't know if it's glass reinforced nylon, I don't know if it's polypropylene, you know, like I don't know what it's made out of. It doesn't seem to be dulling the blades in any way. Dense, durable, little drainage holes on both. You're going to get very similar clips on both that actually work really well. They fit on your belt very nicely. You can run them through a lot of LBE systems as well if you wanted to do that. And it actually makes both knives pretty concealable. So depending on your knife laws and rules or what you're doing or just around your property, you can throw your shirt over it, even a t-shirt, and it doesn't really seem to print too badly, and it really clips on very well, has a little bit of flex there. Now, of the two, the field knife has better tension. I have to push a little bit harder, has a little bit of a more snug click in than on the Ace. The Ace, I don't have to push quite as hard, it just kind of sits in there. It's not going to come out, and neither one of them have almost any rattle. So again, for the price, remember, we're talking 25 to 30 bucks depending on the model and where you pick them up and whatever. Very good in that regard. Lots of lashing points on the field knife. No lashing points on the Ace, making it slimmer, so it's a more concealable knife, the Ace, but less lashing opportunities that are there for you. Now, both of them have a little notch. This is kind of a SOG thing. They've done this for a long time. It actually works well. I was actually impressed with that. Is that something that makes it like more valuable to me? No, absolutely not, but I could easily go through cordage with that without removing the knife out of the sheath. So now you have to have the knife not attached to anything, so it's kind of a weird thing. But if, you know, if it's a toolbox knife or if it's a boating knife, you know, or something like that, you just want to whip it out real quick and do some cordage, and you don't want to bust the knife out or safety reasons, whatever, then it can actually do cordage cutting rather well. So for the price, we're looking at really good designed sheaths. They are righty. They're laid up for righty only, but you could just tuck inside the waistband or even inside the belt basically and get a left-handed attachment very easily. So even lefties, it shouldn't cause too much of a difficulty. So I had to have some fun here real briefly, just more for size perspective than anything else. Here's the SOG Seal Pup Elite. That's the plain edge version. You can see there the handle is very similar to the field knife, but longer blade overall, ACE cryogenically treated. SOG does some of the best ACE around. Great field knife. The non-elite version, which will come with a nylon sheath and is partly serrated, I think you can sometimes get for around $35 or $45, just it kind of depends on when. And then these are the SOGs that I like really love, and this is what, you know, I know SOG by, and you may know as well. So the SOG Pillar, USA made S35 VN steel, micarta handles. I mean, 100 and whatever it is, 160 bucks. This guy is like $70 for the SOG Seal Pup Elite. Those are some sick field knives. I mean, we're gonna actually do, I haven't quite decided yet, redux, redo, retro, revisit, whatever video. We're gonna do the SOG Seal Pup Elite and the Pillar together in a video coming up in, I don't know, a couple months probably, but just wanted to run those in for us. So finally, just kind of wrap it up, guys, with price and those type of aspects before I give you my overall feeling of the two knives and which one better, you know, to go with. The Ace about $25, the field knife about 25 to 30. I think I paid 26 on Amazon for that one. And then we're looking at like 20 bucks for the Mora. The fin hawks around $18 to $20 with that steel that I was talking about. I would say on par, if not slightly better than the 7 CR steel. So that's just things to consider. But if you're going like outdoorsy bushcrafty stuff, these two knives are definitely what I would take first, and you should put in your collection first before these SOGs. But if you're looking for more utilitarian, concealable, these Mora and fin hawk are not concealable. They're not really ideal for utility tasks. Well, guys, let's bring it into a close, give you my final thoughts on who wins this battle of these two blades. which one would I gravitate to? Which one is just better overall? Well, based off of everything that you've seen, you can probably pick up on that performance-wise for the extra couple dollars, like $2 or $3 that you're going to spend on the SOG field knife. In my opinion, it is the better performing knife. We do have the exposed tang out the back. It seems to be just a little more durable in that regard. I don't really know what's going on inside the handle, even though it seems strong. The hollow grind just seems to do for utility tasks and regular work. It just has better edge geometry, the 90-degree spine. All of those things working for it and making it a good option in this price range if you are passing on the Mora or the cold steel, like I had originally said, for whatever your reason may be. Now, with that said, there's something about the Ace that just really connects with me. Some of it is the ergonomics and like not as crazy SOG everything on it. The choil, for whatever reason, I usually do not like choils on this. I connect with it. It reminds me, because it's more compact, it reminds me of like my Spyderco Manix 2 lightweight, or some of my other, like the cold steel Lawman, that has a designated choil, but you don't need it because it's the half of the choil is into the handle, in that full flat grind, and just the overall look of it. I connect with the aesthetics way more on the Ace. So even though the field knife is in every way a better knife, in my opinion, in between the two, if you only had to pick one, you should probably go with the field knife. There is something just cool about this Ace that I'm going to continue to connect with. And if it connects with you, I think it still has a lot of validity to what it can do. But as we've seen, it's just not quite up to task compared to its brother. So there's something cool about it, though. I can't get over it. And honestly, if I was going to go like EDC this for the day, even though I know this performs better, I feel like I would grab this more often than not, just for something. I can't even really put my finger on it. So even though this is better, this is cooler. Let's say that. The field knife is better. The Ace is cooler. Which one means more to you? I hope that this video, guys, has answered those questions, showing you what the capabilities of the tools are, what their drawbacks and limitations are, and whether or not either of these tools are going to be the right knife to throw in your collection, to gift to somebody, or if there's other tools out there. That's what we always want to do here at the channel when we create this content. So thank you so much. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, all the social media. I'd love to answer any questions that you guys have about this content or any other, these two blades. And you can always see up and coming projects when you follow us along on the Instagram and Facebook and all the other social media. And yeah, guys, you're awesome. Check out the other video popping up. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.